All right, I think it's time now. We should get started. So once again, first of all, a very warm welcome to all of you. Uh, I would like to welcome all of you to this session today, wherein we will see how you can unlock business continuity, revenue growth, and better customer experience using Adobe Commerce. I'm Obin Varghese, and I look into business development here at Sigma. I'm sure it will be an interesting and fruitful session for all of us. Before we move forward, this is the agenda for the next 45 minutes or so. First, we will hear from Adobe, who will be giving us some insights on the B2B e-commerce trends today, especially in the US. We will also have a chat with one of our actual business owners and our esteemed customer, Kellyanne Hayes, about their overall experience with the platform. We will also have a quick demo of the Kellyanne Hayes e-commerce portal. And of course, we will have a Q&A session towards the end where we can address any questions from the audience. Well, is that all? No, we have a couple more takeaways for all of you from this session today. All the attendees here are entitled to a free and no obligation discovery workshop by Sigma's e-commerce experts, which is usually worth $1,500. Also, 4 attendees stand a chance to win a $100 Amazon voucher each. So please ensure that you're participative throughout the session. All right, so to give you all a quick overview on what Sigma is all about, Sigma has been in the industry for over 15 years now, serving as a trusted IT partner to startups and enterprises alike. We are headquartered in Irvine, California, with multiple development centers in India. We are a team of about 300 technocrats. Sigma is a certified Adobe solutions partner with over 150 Magento projects delivered globally till date. From a quality and security standpoint, we are ISO 9000, 27000, SOC Type 1 and Type 2 certified as well. All right, let me quickly introduce our panelists for the day now. First up, we have Timothy Lee, who manages commerce solutions consulting at Adobe. Tim has engaged with over 100 strategic customers between commercial and enterprise to successfully envision, create, and execute revenue-generating e-commerce growth plans. He'll be speaking to us on the current B2B commerce trends in the US today. Next up, we also have Connor Watt, who manages the e-commerce business at Kellyanne Hayes. Kellyanne Hayes is a leading electrical, industrial, and plumbing supplier based in New York. Connor joined Kellyanne Hayes when the 60-plus years old organization had just started venturing into e-commerce. Connor focuses on strategic advantages for B2B e-commerce business for the organization and will be talking to us today about the challenges they faced and their overall experience with the platform. Last but not the least, we have Sandeep Fofalia, who is the co-founder of Sigma Info Solutions. Prior to starting his entrepreneurial journey in 2004, Sandeep has worked with companies like IBM Global Services and Sterlite Industries. Sandeep has been involved hands-on in almost all e-commerce projects and implementations at Sigma over the years, and thus he understands the needs and pain points of this industry and the solutions as well. Okay, so before I hand it over to Tim, here is a poll question on the screen for everyone. Do you think that the pandemic has changed the way consumers buy today? Please mark your answers. Over to you, Tim.
Awesome, fantastic. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, absolutely, loud and clear.
Fantastic. So, I really appreciate, first I wanted to say thank you all for joining, and I really do appreciate the opportunity to speak with you all. If we looked at the poll that we just conducted, you could see that the pandemic has a variety of experiences across different business units, but we're going to take a look in today at some trends within specifically the B2B commerce space, talking about things like the buyer's mentality, as well as the demand for more online-based frictionless ordering. So if we can go to the next slide here. I want to start by talking about a little bit about what COVID-19, Well, perfect. So looking at these results, now that the results have kind of been queued here, we're seeing that actually it's had an effect across everybody's business. Understanding here as audience members that yes, the way our consumers are buying today has changed. While we have some temporary changes that are coming, the effects of which we're experiencing are not short term, given we've been through kind of this shifting landscape for the past year and a half to even 2 years. So looking at these results, I think it's obvious make a massive shift in exactly how B2B buyers and sellers perceive and interact with e-commerce in particular. And what started out as, crisis response, the ability to keep our businesses afloat and to drive revenue during a time when face-to-face interaction wasn't exactly a viable option, it's become the new normal. When we look at this recent McKinsey and Company study regarding how suppliers interact with their, just want to make sure that the audio is okay. Okay, how they interact with their sales reps, you'll notice an old trend for high-touch customer acquisition and long-term retention costs have changed from strictly being a layer of that frictionless and efficient ordering process. We see the influence that digital has really had on our B2B buyers as expectations of how individuals interact online line up to conveniences that they experience in day-to-day lives and in their day-to-day e-commerce. So we see from the data that 3/4 of buyers are expecting now remote and digital self-service experiences when they order and even reorder, preferring it over in some cases to face-to-face reordering. In fact, even in identifying new suppliers, a majority of businesses created and won online. This is far from a local phenomenon as customer expectations are shifting from in-person to both in-person and digital. So if we go to the next slide, please. And so looking at this next slide, as we continue to look at this trend that the pandemic has started, we see that data here is a long-term shift in buyer and supplier mentality. So per a survey conducted by Wunderman Thompson in June of 2020, just saw a quick, is the audio coming okay?
Yeah, sometimes it's just fading off, but right now it was okay.
Let me see if I can relocate myself to a better location here. It's a little bit better.
Let's give it a try.
Let's give it a try. Please let me know and I'll let's talk a little bit about what the pandemic has accelerated here. And the data here is highlighting a long-term shift again in that buyer and supplier mentality. So it's found that online and traditional sales channels are taking a hit due to the onset of the pandemic. That is a fairly obvious statement that I think we've all been able to experience. So this survey being done over a year ago, back if you were to ask somebody's, if you were to ask somebody today how relevant e-commerce is, I'd be surprised if the answer wasn't extremely relevant or part of the online process that we're trying to undertake within our next 2021 or 22 initiatives. And this survey really lines up with that because we're noticing here that one, purchases directly through sales reps have dropped by about 1/3. We notice not only about a year ago have in-store purchases decreased by half, but we can expect online trends to continue. And not only that, we're seeing that suppliers ordering online have increased by nearly 20%. So if we go to the, now that we've discussed some of the digital supply trends, let's discuss a little bit about buyer mentality. As much as we make fun of millennials, research shows that millennial buyers will be making a majority of buying goals within the next coming years. Millennials start the buying process with extensive online research. In fact, 85% of millennials turn to social media, vendor websites, and search engines as a primary form of research. I do apologize. So talking again about how millennials are buying, understanding that this new customer base that we're to appeal to, we realize that not only are buyers in this format or buyers in this range, turning to social media and other forms for research primarily before they even get to the brand, they now have options to read reviews not only on the product, but on your company, and even go as far as preferring digital videos as opposed to written documentation. So a large shift in even how B2B buyers are expecting information to be given to them. So as we look at this Accenture strategy survey here, an average B2B buyer does about 12 searches online before making a purchase. There's another stat that says that by the time a prospect reaches you, in fact, they've already gone through 70% of the sales journey. It's a digital first world. And so if I were to ask you, just say, for example, what Carlson Wagonlit is into, all you'd have to do is pop up your phone, Google for them, and you'd be off on their website. If you like their services and products, you'd make an attempt to have the sales rep contact you. And that's how most B2B business is in fact done today. So it's imperative for B2B organizations to think and execute with the digital first thought process. So I believe this is the last slide here. In conclusion, it's an experience economy. Customer expectations are truly at an all-time high. A single bad experience and they don't blink an eye to abandon your brand. I've been there as a consumer myself to be able to understand that, say the buy button is taking too long, or say that there's an experience where getting to checkout just isn't as seamless as it should be. B2B buyers now carry those expectations with them from their B2C consumer lifestyles. B2B isn't a different group of people, and we have to understand that they're the same segment of users just like us who use Uber, Amazon, of ourselves. Wouldn't we want our apps to be as smooth as our daily life applications? So why would a B2B customer want any different when they're presented the choice? The digital divide between B2C and B2B experiences are blurring. Customers now demand for a convenient digital experience. And when that's taken care of, your customers keep coming back. Your customers continue to come back and will bring you that referral-based business. This is still the relationship component playing out over the long term. E-commerce, in fact, has gone from a nice to have business strategy for lowered customer acquisition and retention costs to a must have. And with Adobe Commerce, also known or previously known as Magento Commerce, companies out of box are able to offer personalized experiences with tools like company hierarchy, buyer roles and permissions, and even uniquely priced and itemized catalogs. So in offering the type of customer experience that our consumers are expecting, as well as where the business and markets are trending to, it's a clear choice that digital goods, online and e-commerce should be a digital strategy, either improvement or reiteration of what we might be using today. So thank you so much for your time. I will be staying on the Q&A for any questions that might come up. If there's any challenges with the audio or transcript, I'm more than happy to have it typed up. But with that, Sandeep, over to you. And I'm excited to hear how e-commerce and Sigma have helped Kelly and Hayes.
Thank you very much, Connor. I think we're now coming to the most exciting part of the segment, where we really want to talk about Kelly and Hayes' experience, and I'm sure that's going to help everybody here. So Connor, thank you very much for being part of this event and willing to share some of the details and your experiences here. I do want to start by asking you, being in this industry, you guys have been in industry for like more than 40 years, probably 60 years now. And we wanted to really understand what were your key drivers and what made you really think about e-commerce as a very important part of your overall strategy.
Hey, Sandeep. Thank you. Timothy, that was really good stuff. To answer your question, so yes, we've been in business for quite some time. I think in the next couple months, I think we'll be celebrating 75 years. So we've certainly been around for a while. So as far as what made us think about e-commerce, I think the general market, consumer market, B2B market, it would be silly not to think about e-commerce in 2021. Before e-commerce, generally, at least our company, we only brought in business from 9 to 5. Now we're selling 24/7. So it was really a no-brainer.
Great. And Connor, if you'd like to share some trends from your industry, have you seen your suppliers asking for it, your customers asking for it? do you see some of these things also driving your decisions? Any one or two key influences?
Yeah, actually, that's why I was pleased to see Timothy's charts match with what I'm seeing. You know, a lot of times you look at your own business in a silo, and you don't know if you're just a one-off. But it looks like, according to those reports that Timothy shared, it seems like it's like that across the board. So that was good to see.
Yeah, thank you. So before we go to the next question, we know that there are a lot of people in the audience today who have already implemented their e-commerce strategies, and we just also wanted to do a quick check. What have been the key challenges for some of the people who are here in this audience to see, what have been your main challenges that you faced with the e-commerce implementation? You will have a poll coming to your screen soon, and we'd like to see some of the options which we thought suitable were choosing the right platform for your specific needs, identifying the right technology partner, post implementing, has it been adoption by your customers, or possibly if some of you have had all the challenges. So I'll just request the administrator to please bring in the poll.
Okay, Sandeep, let's move on. I think there is some glitch. The poll is not coming up.
Okay, no problems. Murphy laws apply. Something goes wrong when it has to. Sorry about it. All right, so continuing with Connor, we're very keen to know, Connor, how did you decide with Magento? And I know you have many years of experience even before joining Kelly and Hayes. So we're very curious to know, how did you zero in on Magento?
Sure. Well, I'll start by saying there are many e-commerce platforms on the market, and there probably is a time and a place for each platform. Each platform satisfies different needs. But for Kelly and Hayes, our big emphasis was on B2B and catalog management. We have over 20,000 SKUs on our current site, so we needed a flexible and robust solution. So we spoke to our technology partners, primarily Sigma, just to make sure that everyone was on the same page, and we all agreed that Magento checked all the boxes. So we certainly appreciated Sigma helping us make that decision.
Great. I'll just take a pause for a second. I see a lot of poll responses coming in. I'd like to also share with the audience, with everybody here as to what we see. So interestingly, so far what I see is about 55% of the people have responded saying all the 4 challenges, all of the above. Next in line has been choosing the right platform for a very specific need. 17% of the audience has identifying the right technology partner, and very interesting to see that about 8% of the people had adoption challenges from customers. So which means if you have a right strategy, I think it's easier to onboard customers. Thank you everyone for participating. I will quickly go to the next question. Just give me a second. All right, so over to our next question. With literally hundreds of providers out there, right? We wanted to know what made you choose Sigma as your technology partner?
Sure. I think you might be lowballing it with hundreds, probably more like thousands. But yeah, I personally, being in the e-commerce space for about 6-7 years now, I've worked with probably 10 to 15 different development agencies and technology partners, and I've had a fair share of nightmares. So many overpromise, overcharge, and underdeliver. I've had one instance of a disappearing act. The good old-fashioned take the money and run, and it's never good. So when we first spoke with Sigma, from the jump, you can tell how professional, organized, and responsible the entire organization was from top to bottom. And it was also nice to see the flexibility and innovation, again, throughout the whole company, from the top right down to the bottom. It's really, to this point, has moved mountains for us, and I don't see myself or why anyone else would work with an agency other than Sigma.
Thank you very much, Connor. We are humbled with your remark, and I know you had a bad experience. Sorry about that. Moving on. Our people will, people here, we got some of these questions in advance as well. So I think people are very interested in knowing what are your recommendations for someone who's looking to implement e-commerce for their B2B business. We'll certainly love to hear how did you start preparing, and any recommendations here, because we have at least 5 people from audience who have asked, what's the best step to kind of prepare themselves for the B2B implementations, B2B e-commerce implementations. Thank you.
Yeah, it is a great question, because as a company or an individual, just testing the waters in e-commerce, it can certainly be a nerve-wracking experience. It's a lot of decisions to make, right? So I certainly appreciate the question. Number one, I would say develop a roadmap. It doesn't have to be super detailed. Just have an overarching, start, middle, finish, right? Kind of just, and when you do come up with that roadmap, stick to it. It's easy to get sidetracked and and whatnot. But number one, I would say develop a roadmap. That's something that Sigma was pinnacle in this project for us. The project management upfront saved us a tremendous amount of time during the design and development phase. So that was great. Number two, I would say define your minimum viable product and launch. Once you hit that good enough, launch. It's never going to be perfect during development, right? A lot of people get lost in the sauce, but there's always going to be room for improvement. So launch, and then once you launch, get real market feedback. During development, you start to try to think like your customer, and to a point, you probably get it right, but you never truly know until you launch, right? Get real market feedback, and then make the changes that are being requested by your customer. The feedback loop is crucial to making sure that you're satisfying the customer's needs.
Great. Yeah, I think agility is a key, and we've seen a lot of successes where you take small steps, get started, and then continue to improve. We've also seen in our journey in the last 15 years, like e-commerce is indeed a journey, and it's not really a milestone, right? So it's always there's an opportunity to improve. Thank you very much. Quickly moving on to the next question. Tell us a little bit about how did you roll out this platform to your customers? How was the adoptions, and if there were any challenges? And I asked this question all the more because I know that you work with a lot of customers who come from traditional industries, and where there's always a little bit of meet and greet, and they play a very, very important role. So just tell us a little bit about how did you roll out this platform to your customers?
Sure. Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is an interesting one for us. Having been in business for, like I said, almost 75 years, we have a very large existing customer base. But when it came to e-commerce, we felt it was more beneficial to really start and build an entirely new, I'll call it a digital first customer base from our e-com channel. Mainly because the needs and requirements of the digital first customer would more than likely differ from our older traditional customers, like you touched on.
Got you. Thank you. Moving on, what are the benefits you've kind of reaped, or what are you really expecting in terms of benefits of this e-commerce rollout? And given that you're about a year now more than a year live now. Just share with us, how has this really helped your organization?
Sure. Yeah, well, we certainly expected this to bring in a new type of customer compared to the older customer base. We wanted that new customer base to be a bit easier to market to, and a customer that's really already adopted the idea of e-commerce purchasing, right? There's plenty of, I'll call them older customers, that haven't quite come around to the idea of buying stuff on a computer, right? So, I mean, especially our industry, a good percentage of it remains stuck in the old ways. So we decided to go after a completely new customer type, and in turn create a new revenue stream for the company as a whole, a more profitable, easier to scale business model. So we hope that e-commerce continues to be a new pillar in Kelly and Hayes to grow and carry the entire company forward.
And just to follow up on that, and I know it's a public forum, so is there anything which you would like to share, like what were you hoping to achieve? And given unfortunately the last 12 months or 18 months have been a little difficult for the world, but in some sense industries have benefited from digital experiences. So we just wanted to understand anything you'd like to share in terms of your experience with the number of new orders, what you were hoping to get versus what you really got, and any insight there will be very helpful for our audience here.
Sure. Well, as Timothy touched on earlier, market conditions certainly shifted quite a bit due to the pandemic. But fortunately for Kelly and Hayes, we kind of got into e-commerce right at the right time, because I would say initially we were projecting, I don't know, maybe a 10 to 15% bump in revenue, just primarily because of the replatform to Adobe Commerce and Magento. So when the pandemic hit, we were, I would say, fortunately surprised. I think between the market conditions shifting and replatforming to Adobe Commerce, and also, the overall improved performance of the site as a whole, I'd say we're probably close to doubling our e-commerce revenue compared to the 10 to 15% that we were expecting. So, and as of now, and kind of goes back to the initial poll that you guys put up, it shows no real sign of slowing down. So, we're happy we got in when we did, and I certainly encourage everyone to get into e-commerce if you have not already.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Connor. And being mindful of time, I'm just going to take the last question. While at Sigma and Adobe, we continue to improve the platforms, provide better services to our customers, we'd like to know top 2 or 3 things which you think, in your journey where you'll still like technology to address in the near future. Like where do you think technology is going to come to help? While what you told, you've been quite successful with what you've already implemented.
Sure. At least for Kelly and Hayes, due to the rapid e-commerce growth, in our company, I'd like to see technology continue to help us streamline and improve the operational processes at scale. When we first rolled out e-commerce, it was the e-commerce team was, just a couple guys, and now that it's the train's really starting to move, I think technology could probably help us streamline a good percentage of our processes operationally. And also, I think on the marketing side, using AI tools and analytics to help us make marketing and even purchasing decisions. So those are the 2 big things that I'd like to see technology help even further Kelly and Hayes.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Connor, for sharing all these perspectives. We greatly appreciate it. We have some questions come in, Connor. What we would like to do is we'll bring those questions at the end. Moving on to our next agenda item, we'd like to do a quick demo, and it's a short 5-minute demo. And thank you, Connor and Kelly and his team for allowing us to show this quick demo to our team. Just give me a second, and I'm going to share my screen and show all of you the demo. Just give me a second, please. I hope all of you are able to see my screen. This is Kelly and Hayes' website, and you'll see, bold branding, clearly talking about the products. People can relate to it. What Kelly and Hayes has done. Bring in their traditional branding here, so the recall is good, and their history right here. What Kelly and Hayes had also done, and this industry required, was to search, because products are there are thousands and thousands of products. So to make the search easy. So let's say, for example, the moment you start looking for a product, it'll start showing you options. You can see the pictures, you can see the match. Also, what has been interestingly done here, you'll see products can be in different categories. So on your left-hand side, you'll see the similar products can come in different product categories, images of the products to make it easy. I think what was also very interestingly done here was the prices are shown right here. So you can see like a $24.41 per product, but also right here, you'll see products, the availability of products, so that people are not reaching to a product which is not available. It makes it really easy. And there are 153 products, right? So you can scroll and search, but using the AI, a lot of stuff is coming in based on intelligence, and the products are served to customers based on what they might likely to need. You can see some tools. For example, in one click, you can add it to a cart from here. You can add to your wish list, and you can later buy them. Or if you're going to compare products, you can add to compare, and that makes it really, really easy for you to go and make your buying decisions easier. Quickly moving, let's say if you get to a product, for example, I can show you a product here. So when you see a product, right, very clearly laid out, what's the availability like, who's the manufacturer, and it's easy for you to select, what's the size and fitment of the products you need. And there's some very interesting integrations done, keeping in mind, because if you have a less than full truckload, automatically the shipping and others are calculated. So this is an industry in which volumes are higher, and that's why it's easy and important to it should be easy and important to calculate the shipping cost, and the tools are provided right here. You can also see the specifications. There are specification sheets here, which people can click and download, and what kind of package does it arrive in. So you can actually see a lot of information in one click. If people have written reviews, you can see the reviews, and if somebody wants to write a review, they can do that as well. Quickly moving on, this is the staging server, so this is not production data, just being mindful of the audience here. You can see as an admin, you'll be able to see what's your lifetime sales like. You can see last 24 hours, what's your revenue like. If you wanted to see a year-to-date matrix, you can actually see that. You can see the customers coming in. I'm sorry about it. So you can see the best-selling products, you can see the most viewed products, and you can decide your marketing to do that. Who are the new customers? Who are your customers who have placed the orders? You'll be able to do a lot of things like what are people searching for? And if you see some of your products which have not been categorized appropriately, you can do that or move them into the best-selling. So I know there's a lot to do, but in interest of time, I'm just going to cover a few items. Also, Magento provides advanced reporting, and which is very interesting. It provides you some very interesting reports. So you can see your revenue, you can see how your orders have been week on week, what's been the status of different orders. If you have any refunds, you can see your refunds and the trends around it, how your orders trending, what is the state of all your orders, how many of them are complete, in process, done. You can also see what your average order value is, and you can also track how over a period of time how your average order value is increasing or reducing, and there are ways and means to do that. How much in shipping you've collected. You want to, if you are shipping and if you're serving customers nationwide and in multiple countries, you can see how your revenue and billing is by different regions. What is the tax collected? What is the shipping? And if you're using coupons, you can see a lot of usage of coupons. Likewise, you can see analytics around customers, how many new accounts are there, how many unique customers have come in, and likewise. So all in all, just wanted to show you a glimpse of how Kelly and Hayes has implemented Magento, also introduced Magento to some of you, and show you what the platform is really capable of. I know we have less time right now, so if any of you are interested, we are very happy to set up a demo of the platform, and we also provide some very industry specific demos. So we are happy to take that as a follow-up. And Mobin, if you can reach out to Mobin or through this event, we're happy to follow up. All right, so thank you very much. Moving on to our next item. Just a second, I'm going to bring it back and then share my screen.
So thanks, Sandeep. While you bring that up, we have a few questions already which has come up. Okay, let's get done with the poll. There is a poll on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. If you would mark your answers, then we can move forward. All right, so shall we get started with the Q&A session?
Yeah, absolutely. I think people are waiting on getting some of their questions answered.
Sure.
Yeah.
So this question came in a little while ago. I think Connor already, this is meant for Connor, and he partially already addressed it, but I'll still read it out for you. So Connor, are you getting new business queries and revenue from the website? And what are your other goals from this e-commerce implementation? This is what Adam is asking.
Sure. Yes. In short, on a daily basis, we're constantly bringing in new customers, which is great. And one of the big things that really over the past couple months I've picked up on, and what I hope to continue, is encouraging repeat customers. Early on, it was a lot of one-offs, right? We would have a new customer, they'd buy the last item that we have on the shelf, and you never hear from them again. So moving forward, I'd like to see and encourage continuing repeat customers.
Got it. Okay. So it was mentioned that you have seen a lot of implementation. What are your recommendations for someone who is just getting into e-commerce? Looks like this is for Sandeep.
Yeah, there are great platforms around there. And, we've seen Magento being Adobe Commerce being a very good fit for customers who would like to build a long-term strategy, be B2C, and then also extend their business to B2B. We've also seen, Adobe being very, very aggressive on the mobile strategy. So, how PWAs and how you can get your mobile first experience